All right, welcome into the show. It's Reiter's Block from Los Angeles, California. We got a hell of a show planned for you. Some NBA Finals talk. What a series. The Hall of Famer Mariano Rivera is going to be on the program. And New York Met Jeff McNeil joined me. All of that and more begins right now. Can I just say, on behalf of sports and NBA fans everywhere, holy cow, what? I've seen it all. What a finals, what a series. There's heartbreak, there's elation, there's everything. And let's start with this coming off last night's Game 6 win at Oracle by the Toronto Raptors, making them NBA champions in this 2019 season. Congratulations, Raptors. You deserved it. You earned it. It's a hell of an accomplishment, obviously first time in franchise history. Here are some fun facts. First team in NBA history to win the whole thing with not a single lottery pick. Van Vliet and Siakam both played in the D-League in 2017. The average draft pick of that Raptors starting five was 32nd. Average draft pick among the Warriors starting five, by the way, 18.4. Not to mention the first year of head coach Nick Nurse. The Raptors won all 3 road games. They had 6 players average 10 or more points. I mean, the list goes on and on. Van Vliet was, so many guys were critical and amazing. Van Vliet was so good defensively on Steph Curry. Some huge shots that he hit. It was such an interesting and bizarre and remarkable series. And that's true from a broader perspective. But if you just focus for a moment on the Raptors themselves, everything they've been through, firing Dwayne Casey last year when he was Coach of the Year, trading the beloved all-time Toronto Raptor up to that point, DeMar DeRozan, bringing in Kawhi, not knowing his health situation or whether or not he was going to be a malcontent. There were so many question marks. Masai Ujiri, President of Operations, Gambler of the Year. Nick Nurse said it afterwards, after he and his team had become NBA champions. What a wild ride it had been.
Didn't look too far ahead. Obviously, when we made some additions to the team, we thought we could be good, but we had no idea what the health status was. And it was a great group, though. They really played together. I thought they really fought hard. They were tough-minded. That's like
the lowest low-key head coach of all time. Nick, you can do it, buddy. You can celebrate. Get excited. Just want to take a moment to just talk about Kawhi Leonard and how amazing. Boardman gets paid, and so does everybody that plays with Boardman. Buckets, buckets, buckets. He should add into his repertoire rings, rings, rings. I mean, let me just read you some of the stuff that's here. Kawhi Leonard, 2019 Finals, 28.5 points, 10 rebounds, 43% from the field in this postseason, almost 31 points per game, 9 rebounds, 49% from the field. I'm sure you've heard this. He finished with 732 total points this postseason. That's the third most all time. He is one of only 3 players in the history of the NBA to win an NBA Finals MVP for 2 separate teams, and the only one to do it in both the Eastern and the Western Conference. The guy is such a machine. He's so interesting. And talking to Hakeem Dermish on at CBS Sports HQ last night after the win here on the network, we were talking about how, at least for both of us, certainly for me too, Kawhi has become this favorite player of mine in the game. And that was true last night in the press conference. You don't often get that kind of insight, but he was, at least for Kawhi, fairly forthcoming. And I thought he was interesting, really interesting, when Kawhi Leonard, NBA champion, talked about, referring to his situation with the Spurs, being last year doubted.
A lot of people were doubting me. Thought I was either faking an injury or didn't want to play for a team. And that was disappointing to me that was out in the media. It doesn't matter what anybody has to say about me. I know who I am as a person. I know how I feel. And always just trust yourself.
I'm done doubting you, Kawhi. My bad. Our bad. All of our bad. No more doubts. I do want to say this very, very quickly. There is no asterisk for me in this Toronto Raptors championship. And the notion of it, I understand the question, but for people who think that's the case outside of suffering Warriors fans, I get that. You're a fan. But for those of us that are a little more cleary-eyed, not that emotional, no asterisk. This is part of the deal. It's part of what happens. Guys get hurt, and not to pick on the Warriors, their first championship in 2015, Kyrie played 1 game. Kevin Love didn't play any games. LeBron James lost 2 stars. It's part of the deal. Yes, Klay Thompson's injury was brutal, and I do think it was a difference maker, right? I have no doubt in my mind the Warriors win that game. As you see there, if he doesn't come down on that knee, on that one leg awkwardly, it's so hard to watch. Bad luck. It's unfair. It sucks. I hate it. It's part of the deal. Yes, Kevin Durant's injury, the ruptured Achilles in the game before, awful, unfair, frustrating, brutal. But here's the reality. Not only do you have to play with the guys that you have, give Steve Kerr credit. They ran an amazing play. It was a Brad Stevens play to the weak side, a pass to Steph for the game. He had an open shot. He had a pretty good look, and he missed it. Should have made it. He's the best shooter of all time. He didn't. They had a chance to go to a Game 7. There it is. Here's the play. I love Steph, but you got to hit that shot. That shot right there has nothing to do with Klay Thompson or Kevin Durant. He had a shot. He missed it. It happens. It's part of the deal. And that's it, folks. That's all she wrote. And I thought Draymond Green was spot on when he pointed out, you know what? Sometimes it happens, and the Raptors are champions, and they deserve to be.
Everything this team has been through, I'm extremely proud of the guys. The way we fought, it's great. But, we lost. There's no moral victories. Congratulations to Toronto. They played a great series, and they deserve to win.
No moral victories is right. The Raptors are NBA champions. They earned every ounce of it. Congratulations. And the Warriors got unlucky. It is part of the deal. We'll be talking more NBA, free agency. Well, that's going to be a wild ride the next few weeks, in the days and weeks ahead on this show and on CBS Sports HQ. But there's some baseball to get to, and who better to start that with than Mariano Rivera, the Hall of Famer, joins me on Writer's Block here on your home for streaming sports, CBS Sports HQ, next. All right, welcome back into the show. It's Writer's Block. I'm Bill Reiter. Very excited. Let's just get to our next guest, the legend Mariano Rivera, Hall of Fame closer, first ever unanimous inductee, all-time save leader, 652, New York Yankee, and an absolute gentleman. Joined us on behalf of the first ever eBay baseball card Hall of Fame. Mariano, thank you so much for making time for us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for having the opportunity to talk to you guys.
In the long history of Major League Baseball, and until your induction, there had never been a unanimous Hall of Famer. And I watched the video this morning of your family and friends and just the joy. If you can take us back a little bit, what was that moment like for you where you made that kind of history?
Well, that moment was amazing. I mean, being there with my family, close friends, and receiving that call in my house, it was amazing. The moment that they announced it, the Hall of Fame, it was special. But then when they announced, they told me there was 100% unanimous. I mean, the whole house erupted, the whole family were just jumping, and it was amazing, great feeling. It was like feeling like when you win the World Series and finally it's done, achieved. It was almost the same feeling. So I mean, it's amazing.
You are one of 8 relievers elected to the Hall of Fame, and there's a debate out there in this age of sabermetrics and numbers, the value of the closer. From your perspective, in 2019, how valuable do you think the closer position remains in the game?
Well, I mean, the closer's position is vital. I mean, you need to have a great closer to have a great demeanor and a lot of great qualities to be able to do the job, because I mean it's a critical position. You have the team giving you opportunity to win. The rest of the team is a fight for 8 innings or 7 innings, and now you had the ball in your hand and you had to close that game, that big game. I mean, it's important. It's important. It's critical, like I say, and you have to have a good guy there that is willing, and not only willing but capable to do that type of job, and not only in the games in the regular season. When the big game counts, those are where you have to shine and do the job. So definitely is a position that is important nowadays in the game of baseball.
Mariano, what have you seen from Aroldis Chapman, and what has been a really dominant start for him to this season?
Well, I mean, Chapman has been amazing, has been focused, has been doing his job for so many years. The ability throw the ball so hard like he does. He's just unique guy, and it's great when you have a closer like that. Just longevity and continuing to dominate and continue to throw the ball the way he does. It's just amazing.
You said, I think it was on opening day, that the Yankees, as constructed, could certainly win a World Series. I don't think any of us anticipated the amazing number of injuries that were going to just pile up for this Yankees team, and yet they just keep winning baseball games. What do you make of their resilience, missing so many key guys?
Well, those happens, unfortunately everything happened at the same time, but what I like is that all those boys, all those guys that has been called up to the big leagues have been doing tremendous job, it looks like they haven't lost a beat, the whole team is there. So, yes, we have a lot of injuries, but doesn't look like, because those guys have been doing tremendous job that are giving the opportunity to the players to rehab, take their time, and make sure that when they come back, they 100%. It's no urgency to come back right away, because the guys are doing tremendous job.
Who is there a guy in particular, a Yankee in particular, who's impressed you with just stepping up and stepping into the moment, given how the Yankees have needed guys to really take the mantle of leadership early in their careers?
Well, no, really. To me, it's everybody. Everybody. All the guys that has come up, have done tremendous job. Like I said, collectible, they're doing great job, and that's what we're looking for. We never assume that these things will happen, especially early in the year, but it does. Baseball, anything can happen, and but the good thing is that these guys are making a great run, where the guys that are injuries can take their time and come back.
It's a good thing the Yankees have played as well as they have despite the injuries, because that American League East, it is loaded with three really good teams. From your perspective, who's the bigger threat to New York in that division, Boston or Tampa?
Well, right now, Boston always will be Boston, and that rivalry there we always will have. But Tampa Bay has done a tremendous job, and they got a good young staff that are doing good, and we have to continue going, though, because to me, Tampa is the biggest threat right now.
Obviously, some very scary news involving David Ortiz several days ago. I know a friend of yours, obviously a competitor like you, an incredible player, an incredible human being. Have you had a chance to reach out, and just where are you at in dealing with David's situation, having been shot back in the Dominican Republic, and obviously as we all wait for word that everything's going to be okay?
Well, it's unfortunate that this happened. David is a tremendous person, tremendous guy with a big heart, giving heart, and something like that to happen is a shame. Right now we don't know much about it. Just we have the same agent, and I've been talking to him to see how he's doing, and he's doing all right. He's doing all right. He's in Boston right now, and the rest, well, we will talk about more when we know more about it. But right now, we're just praying for David that he will come out of this thing in good health, and we'll see from there.
Mariano, last question for you. Two of the favorite things in the Reiter household are eBay and baseball cards, and you are bringing them both together with the first ever eBay Baseball Card Hall of Fame. What can you tell us about eBay, the Baseball Card Hall of Fame, and what you're doing with eBay?
But eBay has done a tremendous job, especially with these Hall of Fame baseball cards that they have. It's amazing. I was talking to Steve, and Steve is one of the guys that have a tremendous input in these baseball cards, and it's amazing. eBay has done tremendous job putting this together, and every child, every man, they want to receive or buy one of these cards. It's no other place to get it but eBay. So that's why I'm partnered up with eBay, because they winners. and I'm a winner. So every time that you are partnered up with the winner team, good things will happen, and also they helping me to raise funds for the foundation, for the Mariano Rivera Foundation, which is we helping boys and girls go to school and finish school. So I mean, I'm so happy to be here and partnered up with eBay because I mean, a great things happening.
Mariano Rivera, it was really cool to have you on the show. Very gracious of you to make time. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Mariano Rivera on the program. It's I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a cool moment professionally to have one of the great players and one of the classiest players of all time on the program. We appreciate him, we appreciate eBay, and we appreciate you being here on Writer's Block. We're gonna keep it going before we sign off and hand things over to the folks down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. A little more of the show when we continue here in a moment on CBS Sports HQ. All right, welcome back into Writer's Block. This is great. We go from one great baseball guest to another. We just talked to Mariano Rivera, the Hall of Famer. Now we're going to talk to another New York ball player. This is Jeff McNeil from the New York Mets joining us live. Jeff, thanks for making time, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so let's get ready to do it. I love your approach to the plate. And every time before going to the batter's box, you survey the defense. You look for holes. How much of an advantage does what you're looking for before you actually start battling that pitcher? How much of an advantage does that give you at the plate?
I think it gives me a good advantage. When I see them shift me, I'm not trying to do too much. I'm just trying to hit a ground ball to the left side. Lately, they've been shifting me, and they've been playing the second baseman kind of deep, so it kind of opens up a little push bunt for me if I want. So, I think it's a great advantage. With the bat control I have, and I'm able to get some hits and put the ball where I want it.
Entering this week, you led all of the majors, all of baseball, in swinging at pitches inside the strike zone. Once you get in the batter's box, take us through your approach at the plate and the things you're trying to do.
Definitely not trying to do too much. I kind of watch to see how the pitcher's throwing other hitters like me. I kind of I like to see how he throws Conforto and Nimmo when he's healthy. They kind of pitch us all the same. So, not trying to do too much, trying to get a fastball, early in the count. And I'm not afraid to hit that breaking ball or changeup if they're trying to steal a strike. So, just trying to get a good pitch in the zone and drive it.
Jeff, you're a contact hitter in an era of launch angles, and not that that's everybody. Cody Bellinger, one example, a guy that's adjusted his approach at the plate this year with 2 strikes. But it is a different approach than a lot of guys. What's your general perspective on the idea of launch angles and why you approach the game and attack pitchers the way that you do? Why is that the right approach for you?
I don't think launch angle is a bad thing. All that's saying is you're hitting the ball on a line. That's all you're really trying to do. You're trying to hit the ball hard on a line. Occasionally, if you hit a little higher, it's going to go over the fence. I think it gives me a great advantage, just being able to put the ball in play. And, if you put the ball in play a lot, hits are going to fall.
All right, so not to butter you up here, Jeff, but I was doing some research on you earlier today, right? Getting on the old Google machine, and may have voted for you a time or two for the All-Star game because I think you deserve it. For folks that are out there that haven't done that yet, why should they go and push that vote for Jeff McNeil for the All-Star game button?
I think I've done all I could do. It's the first half of the season so far. I'm hitting 340 all year. Getting on base and letting Pete drive me in, and I think Pete deserves a vote as well. He's having an unbelievable year, and he got 20-something home runs, and carrying us on his back. So it's awesome to see.
I was texting a couple buddies earlier today who played in the big leagues that I've worked with in the past about you, and the same message kind of came back. They love what you do at the plate. You're a natural hitter, and you said it. 340. You're having an incredible year. So this is kind of random, but you're a great hitter. I want to ask you, do you think we'll ever see anyone hit 400 again? Obviously, last guy to do it, Ted Williams, 406, a long, long time ago. Is that a mark for anybody in baseball that's realistic in the next, let's say, 30 years?
I think that's going to be incredibly hard to beat. The pitchers are so good now. I mean, look what Bellinger's been doing. I mean, he's been crushing the ball, and I think he's hitting 350 right now. I know I've been hitting the ball well. I'm only hit 340. I mean, I don't know what more I can do, but it's tough. That 400 mark is going to be pretty hard to beat, especially for a full year.
You're a guy for the Mets. I mean, you have played a lot of different positions. It could be third base one day, it's left field another, it can be second base. Does that have an impact on you? Does it make life more difficult when you're doing what you're trying to do at the plate?
No, not really. I try to separate them as much as possible. I had a lot of experience, too, in college doing that. I mean, I played basically everywhere in the outfield in college and then second and short. So I've been moving around basically my whole career. So, I just try to do what I can to separate, hitting and fielding. And, yeah.
All right, so you're also, before we let you go, got to get a few golf questions in. We're golf fans here on the show. You are a really, really good golfer. Do you have a rooting interest in whoever you hope takes the U.S. Open this weekend at Pebble Beach?
I'm a big Tiger fan, so, any week that he plays, I hope he can come out on top. But, I've been watching, and I know Justin Rose is playing extremely well. So, I think it'll hopefully, it's a good back nine on Sunday, and hopefully Tiger's in the mix.
Rumor has it you played Beth Page Black recently and shot a 72. So I got to ask you, I'm out in L.A. You're from up in, sort of halfway between here and Pebble Beach. Did you ever get a chance to get up there and play that course? Do you have any sense of how difficult it is?
No, I never got to play it. Hopefully maybe this offseason get up there and play, but no, never got the chance.
All right, well, when you're Jeff McNeil in the offseason, MLB All-Star, I'm sure it'll be easy to get a tee time. Jeff, really appreciate the time. Enjoying watching you and your Mets grind it out in a really competitive division. Good luck this year, and hopefully we'll be seeing you at the All-Star game.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jeff McNeil, dude is having a really, really good season. He's a lot of fun to watch do his thing at the plate. That's a wrap. That's a show. We talked NBA Finals. The Raptors are champions. Talked to the Hall of Famer Mariano Rivera and a really, really impressive young player in Jeff McNeil, who's having a hell of a season for the Mets. It's Friday. Have a great weekend. I'm Bill Reiter. We'll see you on Monday, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, right here on Reiter's Block.